things. You've got the spreadsheet, haven't you?
I've got a spreadsheet.
You are the man. You are the man. Ladies and gentlemen, we are fresh. Well, we're not fresh back, are we? But we're fresh back from the Feedermasters final at the weekend. I loved my weekend, Lee. I spent it with Frankie Giannicelli. I drove down on the Thursday. We had a bit of a drive around to a tackle shop on the Thursday because the weather looked horrendous. We didn't fancy having a practice session. And Frankie needed to get some bits as well from the shop. So we went to the shop. Then we had a practice match on the Friday. Then the final Saturday and Sunday. All, I'm going to say this, all wonderfully organised by you and the Feedermasters guys. I think it went ever so smoothly, don't you?
It went smoothly, that's for sure, yeah.
Enjoyable fishing. For anyone that doesn't know Feedermasters, it's held at Tamar Lakes, which is, I'm going to say like a skimmer mecca, like Bremer's skimmer mecca. But they just didn't really show, did they? Like in the numbers that they have done in the past, it was more roach and smaller fish and like shorter range fishing for those numbers rather than quality fish, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the weights on average, or the total weight, was the lowest we've had in the 5 years we've been there. However, it's low by Tamar standards. Because when you think of the weather we had this weekend, like 40-mile-an-hour gales, cold nights, rain, water came up 1.5 foot, we should have all been blanking. But actually, £40 over 2 days of silverfish is lasting the money. So, and that's 20th place. So a third of the field have had £40 of silverfish or more over 2 days, which I just think, I just don't even know anywhere that could even come close to that as a natural venue. Not even close. Unbelievable.
The fishing was great, Lee. The fishing was great. I had a day, we'll talk about your day in a second, but I had a day on the Saturday, first day of the final, where I probably could have caught a few more fish. I was in like a reasonable area. I weighed 22 pounds and never felt I got it quite right, especially for the last sort of like 2 hours of the match. I caught a lot of small fish early and then decided to go skimmer hunting because I got Zach Williams on the next peg, who's been doing really well with skimmers there. And he was my barometer. And as soon as he started catching a few skimmers, I thought, right, now's the time. Just never sort of like caught up with him. So he ended up with £29. I ended up with £22. Maybe I could have carried on fishing for small fish, but it was tailing off anyway by the time I went skimmer fishing. And then on the second day, so the trouble is, it's a 2-day final where your weights are added up. So I'm thinking, I've messed up my chance there. That could have been a chance. But come the second day, I've drew no good anyway. So didn't really matter what happened on the first day as far as winning the event. But I've drew in the shallow area of the lake. And it was tiny fishing, gale force wind, and the conditions were horrendous. But interesting fishing, frustrating, really frustrating. You're catching really small roach. I ended up with counting. I was thinking at one point, I'm not going to get to like 150. Then I thought I might get to 200. Then in the end, I've had a good last hour and I ended up catching, 229. So like little tiny roach, and they've weighed like 17 pounds, which is a tiny stamp. But as you've just alluded to, I had £40 after over 2 days, which got me 20th place, last one in the money.
Snuck in the money.
So I'm pleased that you've obviously paid down to 20.
Yeah, it's a nice thing about it, isn't it? Because you've had two average pegs, really. But I would say your second day's below average, your first day's average, and you've managed to sneak in 20th. So, that's what the event is all about, really, isn't it? So
yeah, talk about your 2 days.
Yeah, mine were really similar. I was down 2 pegs from where you were on the second day, and I caught 260 roach, and I kept looking at them, Rob, thinking, "Oh, they're small. They're small." But
I remember you telling me
the day before, everybody was saying like, "Oh, I had 180, weighed 18 pounds. I had 205, weighed 20 pound. And I was looking at this fish thinking, well, I suppose maybe they're 10 to a pound, but they don't feel it. They don't feel it. And I got to 260. And you know that feeling when you pull your net out, which you'd have had on Sunday, and you pull your net out and you're just like, they're not that.
I was prepared for it because I'd spoke to you the evening before, and I thought,
yeah.
I've got 220 odd fish here. If they go 15 pound, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. And mine went 21, 12, 21, 13. And I just had I was just frustrated because it took me an hour to figure out what to do. And then even then I was like, you would have little spells where it goes off. And I think as well, because of the stamp of the fish, like for example, you get a perch or two come into your peg and those little tiny roach would just go. Like if the roach are a little bit better, they almost like stop the perch coming in, or really they're not bothered that there's a perch.
Just a bit more aggressive. You can hook them as well. I've had to use like smaller hooks than I wanted to use.
Yeah, exactly the same. Smaller hooks, different. If your hook bait isn't immaculate every time, you're wasting your time. So like I finished with 21-13, and I was a bit frustrated because I thought I wish I'd have given myself a chance of a skimmer or two, because there wasn't any on the second day and there wasn't any on the Friday, but I just feel like with it being a bit calmer on the Saturday, there might have been an odd skimmer. But again, I could have then caught 18 pound and been really disappointed. But anyway, on the Sunday I drew a peg where I really didn't fancy at all. Peg 60. It's round the corner into that. I'm right, I caught a few there the day before, but generally speaking, and particularly when it's rough, it's not a great area. And I had a really steady day, Rob. I had 3 skimmers in my first 3 chucks and thought, maybe there's a few early ones here. But then like after 50 minutes, I've still got 3. And I never got going at all. I never had a run, 15 halfway through. And I finished on 28 skimmers for £22.12. And I thought, can't believe that. Like, I can't believe the stamp of them. They were really good. And like, it was one of those where all day I just kept thinking, if this clicks just for an hour, I'll get to £30.
Yeah, but you think it's going to click and you get like 5 in 5 and then it's like,
I never even got that. I'd get like 2 in 3, 3 in 5. And then I'd have like 7 casts without an indication. And like,
I think that's the cold water's just knocked it on the head, hasn't it?
I do too, and that's effectively what it was. So I was really pleased when I weighed in, but I had a little go roach fishing. Oliver Scott on my left, and he was roaching. And Rob, however small you think they were where we were the day before, they were pathetic where we were the second day. And I mean like the tiny ones. And I was watching Oliver, and I sort of said to him, like, how many have you got halfway through? And he, 120. And I said, look, they're going to weigh nothing. They're not even going to weigh 10 pounds. They're going to weigh like 6-7 pounds. And he ended up with 17 skimmers, same skimmers as me, and 140 roach for 18 pounds. And we were chatting about it later, saying those 17 skimmers were probably 12 pounds. So he's like 120 roach was 6 pounds. But in complete contrast to that, 2 to my right was eventual champ Adam Wakeling, and he was on the end, and he's caught a fantastic stamp of fish. Like from the start, his fish have been those and he's had 270 for £30. Similar to his day before.
Like nice conditions, able to fish.
No, he's been brilliant. I tell you what, he's had is the perfect storm. We talked about this with Jamie Hughes at Match this other week. I said to Adam, not many people would have been capable of catching £30 of silverfish both days off his pegs, because his pegs are very good. Not many people at all, but he's brilliant at it, and he's been on pegs capable of doing it, which is the same thing that he said, and he's made the most of it. So I think it's one of those performances where you go, that is a well-deserved winner. He's drawn 2 pegs that have given him the chance to do what he's very good at, and he's absolutely done it better than most. So fair play. Very, very, very good. But it was a great weekend, and one of those, Rob, like you get in the tent afterwards, And I always get this feeling, you know, when it's been rough and you think to yourself, God, I just, you know, when you're out there battling it, it's hard. But when you get in, you get almost like this adrenaline rush, like you've been
There's
out
no
for a
one
run.
like,
you know,
really dejected and blown off the. I didn't think in that tent afterwards, in the marquee afterwards, there was no one sort of like, oh, really had enough of this. This has really done me today. There's a lot of people still upbeat about the whole thing.
I think a lot of people are like, almost like, yeah, we took that on and won.
The conditions were tough, weren't they?
The hardest I've seen at Tamar. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. So obviously, Adam Wakeling won it. Frankie, who I was travelling with, second. Gaz Lambert, third. Good anglers. You're not going to get a bad angler win at Tamar. You're just not. You know, you don't get a bad angler qualify, full stop. But you're going to get a top angler win it. I think it's that sort of venue, isn't it? So
I just think it's you know, I think everybody in the final who's capable of winning the 20 peg zone is capable of winning at Tamar, because 2 pegs on the fish at Tamar, like for example, Matt Wright is a great angler. He was really unlucky. On another day, he drew that red buoy.
Yeah,
Frankie's been on the red buoy 2 years running, and that is, you know, a great angler on a great peg. He's going to be hard to beat. So
yeah, just a few hellos. Darren Hill, hello. Chris Weston, afternoon. Stephen Armstrong, afternoon. Chris Hodgson, what do you think made the difference with the stamp of the skimmers? Never felt that I could use a method or hybrid, as my skimmers were all 4 to 5 ounce. I had a lot of small ones on the Saturday, Chris, and I just think where there was a big number of those big fish, they fed. But I think the fact that the water was very cold, I think that just knocked the stamp of fish on the head. I think that the stamp just got smaller. Don't know about you, Lee. I just think the stamp in general was smaller.
I think areas play a massive part, Rob. Like on the second day, I caught the traditional stamp, but on the practice match, you could swing half your fish.
Yeah, I swung some.
So I think that, and you know, and Zach's practice match stamp compared to match day stamp, I just think it's where you see it for the stamp. And generally speaking, the more bigger stamp, you tend to find a few less fish.
Yeah,
you know, like, and they were a bit harder to catch. So Chris, it was probably more your pegs. And Rob's right; the conditions meant that those bigger ones just didn't really want to feed anyway. So you just had to find places where they wanted to feed. So
right, have you got some spreadsheets available? Because we have 2 competitions to draw for you folks. We have ran a free competition. If you've not got involved in that, well, you need your head looking at, because you have had the chance over the last couple of weeks to enter into a free competition where you've got a chance to win a bucket full of pellets, ground bait, flavourings, loads of stuff from the Red Krill range from Dynamite Baits. I'm going to say it again, it was free to enter. So if you've not entered that, you should have entered it. But also, we've got free spirit competition to draw the winner from, where someone is going to win 2 free spirit rods, a feeder rod and a waggler rod, plus a landing net pole. All really good bits of gear. So what have you got there then, Lee? What have we got?
I brought the Dynamite Baits one up first, Rob.
Okay.
And put it on your screen.
Right. So talk everyone through how we're going to draw this winner.
So like Rob said, it was free to enter. So when you entered, you get giving a random ticket number. And once everybody's entered, in this case, we had 177 entries. And your random ticket number is then organized into sort of numerical order, smallest to largest, and that gives you a draw number. So number 1 in this occasion is Francis. And as you go down, obviously the numbers relate to your ticket numbers, but it makes it easier for us to draw. So in Rob's random Google number generator.
Mouthful that is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is 1 to 177. And basically that will dictate if you've won some incredible Dynamite Baits Red Krill bait bundle.
Okay, so we have our number. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. We need this. Right. So just reset this to show everyone that this is all above board. Hopefully you can see all that. Generate, yeah, go back to 0. So we want 1 to, what was the number, Lee?
177, Rob.
177. This is for our bait bundle winner. Let's generate a number 69. That's everybody's favourite number. 69, Lee. So you tell me what who that is.
69 is Mart Pallet. Mart Pallet. Congratulations.
The pallet. Mark the pallet. Mark Pallet.
Mart Pallet. Yeah. Don't know if that's short for Martin or.
What's the ticket number we've got on there,
His
Lee?
ticket number was 371. Mart, congratulations. You have won. Number 69. Superb. That's great. Right.
We've got that one. That's one down. One to go. Let's get our free spirit winner up, please.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to do this one.
Hey.
Oh, hello.
While we're talking, Keith Brogan. Hi, chaps. Just letting you know, I won a CTX rod a few weeks ago. Just letting you know, I won a match using it. It's brilliant.
Go on.
Yes, Keith. Keith, tell the world, please.
Great work, Keith. You've done extremely well there. Okay, the Free Spirit helical setup has basically got exactly the same format. So when you bought your tickets, and you could buy more than one on this occasion, you were given a ticket number at random. And if you bought 10 tickets, they're not like 1 to 10. It'll be totally random. Basically, we set the sort of total number, if you like, which in this case would look like 1,000. So, and then we set them in order to give you a draw number. So we've got here, Rob, 1, 2, 4, 4, 2. So 1 to 4, 4, 2 inclusive. And that means if you do the old Google random number generator, you can give us a winner, which I'm quite excited about.
You're going to have to tell me that again because I forgot it.
Have you? I forgot it as well.
1 to 4, 4, 2.
1 to 4, 4, 2. That's correct,
1 to
my
4,
friend.
4, 2 inclusive. Here we go, Lee. Free spirit winner 279.
279. Let's have a look here. 279. 279 is Raymond. I'm going to go with Key maybe. Keay. So Raymond, I'm going with. Raymond, congratulations. You were ticket number 635. 279 on the draw, and you have won the amazing Free Spirit setup. I'm really pleased for you. I hope you enjoy it because it's an incredible bit of equipment, really, Rob, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Raymond, we'll get your gear to you as soon as we can. Hopefully, it'll be out with you by the end of the week. It'll be out by the end of the week, and hopefully, you get it early next week. Same with you, Mark, with your bait. Just to tell you, folks, if you've not won a Free Spirit setup, there's a Preston feeder setup on the site at the moment. So 12-foot Superior X, which I'm guessing you used at the weekend.
Yeah.
Or a version of it, not the one we're giving away, your one.
Yeah, brand new in. Yeah. Superior X, fantastic rod. If you love your feeder fishing anywhere that you need to cast probably more than 40 meters, that is the rod for you, without a doubt.
And the reel, Lee. The reels are superb, aren't they?
Yeah, really high quality, Rob. Centuries SDs, 520 size. It's all there ready for someone to win.
Okay, superb. So go over cuttingedgecomps.co.uk. Have a go on the comp. Hopefully, it's your name we're drawing out in the next draw. Fingers crossed. What have you got to do? Go and collect your child.
Pretty much. Collect kids.
All right, collect kids. Right, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Boston Masters for me this weekend, Lee. That's my next stop.
Is it?
Then Belgium.
I was going to say, I don't think I've got a competition till Belgium, mate. So you're for the European champs. I'm having a weekend off. Very well earned weekend off.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I was meant to be fishing today, but I looked at the weather and I just thought I can't deal with it.
No.
Got so kit all over the place. Right. Thank you very much for watching, folks. We'll see you next time.